how would you like to make your first million? And today we have David, which he's the co-founder of Royal Restrooms. So David, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Well, Harry, that is one to get right out of the club here and hit the hard questions. Making a million that's the hardest thing that you're gonna do to begin with. Most important thing I think is you need to make sure that you invest in yourself. You prepare yourself for what an entrepreneur takes. A lot of people don't realize that an entrepreneur is 24/7. And it is 365 days a year, and your business is yourself at that time. You don't need to stop what you're doing. My second point is keep the grassroots foundation marketing consistent. Don't stop what you're doing, even when you start to achieve a little success and pivot. Progress does not stop just because you start to make money and you start to see different directions within your business, and continue to pivot within your business. Don't take failures as a misdirection or you can't make it work. Look at the failure as a lesson and learning curve, and how can you adapt and reapply those failures to turn them into successes. Fourth, whatever it is that you are building upon, you can't stop it at all. You have to continue that momentum, because when your momentum picks up, business picks up. Just because business picks up doesn't mean that you can stop the momentum from a marketing or any of the other stuff. So you have to prepare yourself that when you get busy, it's going to get much busier. Tasks are going to become longer. Tasks are going to be maintaining the same, but business is starting to pick up. So you have to reinvest in employees. You have to put the right people in place so that you can trust that your vision is seen through. A blueprint for a business is your lifeline. Follow that blueprint and maintain the success from what you've learned over the years to continue on. Making your first million is quite a milestone. Hitting gross revenue in $1 million is not much. Making your first million is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
That is a completely different thing. And that takes time and reinvestment within your business, and looking at your business in more of a fine line, more analytical. So just because you're a great marketer or you're a great salesperson doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. You have to be successful in all aspects of your business, and you have to learn every facet of your business to end up being successful. Once you do make that first million, the second million is a whole lot easier, because when you do have the tools, it's almost like a light bulb goes off.
Fantastic, David. So tell us, David, how you decided to become an entrepreneur. Do you have an entrepreneur in your family? Do you read the book, a friend? And so why you decide to become an entrepreneur?
I grew up around small business owners, not necessarily one side of my family owned drugstores, which were small drugstores. My other grandfather on my mother's side owned Vickery TV and Appliance, and that was a self-starter business that he started in repairing TVs back in the day and dishwashers. And from being a repairman, he got into selling them, and he learned how to so it was I really learned a lot from my grandfather, George Vickery. He was he taught me a lot of things, from just simple things, from mechanical to plumbing to also how they marketed, how he achieved, success within the local market. And it came down to being, community involvement, grassroots, making sure that what you were selling, you believed in, and that you were also true to that, true to what you were selling. You weren't selling a gimmick, you weren't selling some kind of false lie, or you weren't being sleazy. You were selling something that you believed in and that you believed could better other people's lives. It was not just a product, it was a service. And it was almost like a household name. And I really was proud of that growing up. I was very proud of both my grandfathers, Joe Sauers at Sauers Drugstore, and my other grandfather, George Vickery. And, even my grandmother was co-owner in that, Betty Vickery. So it was wonderful to see that. And now my wife and I, we work together in our business. And so, I grew up seeing family work together, and there's certainly a balance that needs to be held. But it's something that was not unfamiliar with me. But to answer your question more directly, I was a commercial lender back in the day. So I helped a lot of different small businesses get up and started, or I banked them. And I was envious of, their successes, but I got to see their lifestyle. I got to see, what made them tick. And I got to see a lot of different facets from a lot of different businesses, which probably gave me an advantage overall in my own entrepreneurship. But, it was something that I envisioned myself in doing, not necessarily that it was bad to work for somebody else, but your vision comes to play out the way that you decide to do it. The heavy things is the mistakes that you make. There's no one else to blame but yourself. You can't justify anything that goes on or wrong in your business, but those failures, you have to get back on your feet and try a different route and learn from it.
Mm-hmm. And then, David, you tell us a little bit about your product, because you are in the luxury space, and when you are in this space, the way that you market the product is completely different, because in the luxury space or doing luxury services, your clients doesn't have money problems. So how you market someone that they don't have money problems and price is not actually even relevant for them, because it's a luxury product. So tell us a little bit about your product and how you market this product.
Right. Well, Royal Restrooms is a portable restroom trailer company, and we rent restroom trailers nationwide. We've got roughly about 50 offices across 18 different states, primarily on the East Coast and West Coast. But, the name Royal Restrooms, and we say luxury portable toilets or luxury restrooms, because the standard in America has been, for a portable toilet, has been a box, a blue box or a brown box.
All over the world,
almost,
not only US.
It's just,
it's a global.
It's just, yeah, it's just a bucket, and that has been, or that was 20 years ago, the norm. It was the socially accepted standard. Our restrooms, yes, they are nice, but they are just truly real functioning restrooms like you would use in your house or your home, restaurants, hotels. They are just real restrooms on wheels. They're on trailers. They're climate controlled. They're real flushing toilets. You have a sink, you have vanity, you have real toilet paper, you have paper towels to dry your hands, you have, like I said, it's climate controlled.
Wow.
There's ambient lighting inside. You have mirrors so that when you walk in, you don't realize that you're in a trailer. So luxury restrooms, we say they're luxury because it is compared to a portable toilet.
To the standard,
it is a
yeah.
huge, it is a
Absolutely.
huge upset. But sure, our primary market focus in the beginning was weddings and special events, more that ritzy VIP event status, because that was the easiest thing to market to, and that they could afford that luxury, or it would be, I guess, in the budget. Today, though, I would probably say that our luxury market, our weddings, our VIP stuff, it's from a revenue standpoint, it's way down on the spectrum to where it was 20 years ago. We work a lot with nonprofits. We do parades, we do festivals, we do business remodels, we do sporting events. So it's not that our stuff costs so much that people can't use it, but more and more businesses are utilizing our services, especially after COVID, with the whole, making sure things are clean and sanitary and stuff.
100%,
but
yeah.
They've realized that having a real functioning restroom, people stay longer at the event. I mean, I can ask you,
Experience.
I've never had anybody,
amazing.
I've never had anyone tell me they haven't, but you or someone within your family that you've been with has left an event because of the bathroom at some point.
Yeah.
They had to go to the bathroom, and they
God.
left.
Tell me about it. I live in London, close to Hyde Park, and there is loads of events there. And wow, these thing, when music concerts and things like that, the hardest thing is go to the restroom, to the bathrooms, because it's a horrible experience. You have to queue a lot, then you go inside there, they smell. It's a horrible experience, and it's happened that I used to own a restaurant once, yeah, and someone told me that the quality of the bathrooms is the quality of your restaurant, because it is whether you like it or not, it's part of the experience that people have, and when you go when you go to those places, if you have been in the Ritz or in any high standard hotel, the bathroom is spectacular, right?
Right. Well, I mean, think about it, Harry. Going to the bathroom is probably still one of the most private moments that you have as a human being, besides maybe counting your money, or, that is something that is, now it's some people's escape room. They take a time out but if they go to the bathroom, they want to do it comfortably. They want to be able to take a breath. They want to be able to do what they need to do. They look at their phone, whatever, check themselves. If you go somewhere and it's not acceptable, then you don't feel clean. You want to get out. You're rushed. It creates a panic inside you that is uncontrollable.
Affect the experience, have a huge impact on the general experience of the event. It could be a wedding. I do events, yeah. I do events all over the world. So actually, our last event, it was in the biggest cruise in the River Thames, yeah, and it looked so luxury and everything. And we did manage to do the event. However, the bathroom, they were not to the standard to the rest of the cruise, yeah. And some guests pointed out. Some guests pointed out. They said, "Well, it's very luxury, yeah, but the bathrooms are not to the standards of the rest of the cruise, yeah." So people, especially when we do luxury galas, business award galas, right? this type of events, people see the bathrooms as a part of the experience. It comes with it, and if it's no to the if it's not to the standard, people notice it, especially if you are if you're doing luxury events, right? So David, who came with the idea? What made you think that um, that it was a business out of this idea? Who came with the idea that, well, this is a problem that needs to be improved, and I can make money out of this?
Well, you know, like most things, and I think most entrepreneurs, they come up with an idea because something has startled them, something has shocked them, something has got them thinking. And that's very similar to myself. I had a horrible experience in a porta potty, taking my young children who were potty training at the time. And we went to the bathroom. I've got my one daughter on the hip, and I've got the other one that's potty training. And I'm trying to figure out exactly what to do, how to get into this this portable toilet with both of them. And it's tight. There's no lights. And I kind of turn around, and my daughter's the one that's potty training is touching the toilet seat, and she's looking down in there, and I just panic, freak out, had to hand off CC to a stranger outside, and I've got the door kind of propped open so I can watch her, and I'm holding the other one over the toilet, and she just pees all over me. And it went from, kind of panic to being pissed off. And here I am at this event, and I've got pee all over me. I've got children I can't clean up. It's a mess. Anyway, I leave, and I get upset, and I'm angry, and I'm just like, why is this the norm? Why are we doing this? Like, I don't understand this. We've got everything else under the sun that you can possibly imagine to, make these events great. And yet we subjugate ourselves to going to the bathrooms like the Romans. Like what? Like didn't understand it. Now I sat back on it for a little while, like most people do. They don't have the the gumption or the full confidence to make that leap. And it was my business partner, Robert Glisson, who was really the catalyst that launched this all into, we can do this. It can be done. There's a market. And it was almost like the two of us were, completing each other's sentences. Like, oh, we can do weddings, we can do festivals, we can do oyster roast, we can do backyard parties, we can do family, we can do all these things. And so that's kind of how it started. It started small. It started as a side hustle, and it kind of took a life of its own because we believed in this, not just with it's going to be a money maker, but we believed that we could, make a change in our city, that we really thought that we were providing something that elevated not only the experience, but also, like what we like to call the host city of the South in Savannah. And that's how we pushed it. And we got very involved with community. We felt like, both of Robert and I, we had professional jobs. We're part of boards. We're part of this. How can we raise more money for March of Dimes? How can we raise more money for Habitat for Humanity? How can we raise more money for the Susan B. Komen? And it's like, okay, we can make these things larger and have better experiences, and people stay longer, they spend more money, but the event gets bigger. When something is new to an event, something that wows people or something changes, people talk about it a little more. And so
Absolutely.
our business just kind of came alive. It almost developed upon itself. The Robert and I were the business. And I think that's what so many people don't understand when they're in business. It's not just about the name. You are the business until the business can grow itself.
Absolutely, yeah. So David, but what's the step, for example, building the first prototype, right? Because this is a bespoke product that is only in your head and in the head of your co-founder. And how you materialize that? How do you find someone that actually built uh, a functional restroom with all the challenges that these have, and it has to be nice, it has to be functional, it has to enhance the experience, and then how much it's gonna cost, because it's there is nothing out there, so you actually have to build it, right?
That's correct. So I had drawn out the half bath, the restroom using the template of our bathroom downstairs in our house, the half bath. And it almost fit perfectly on like a 6-foot trailer, the width of it and the length, and it was comfortable inside. So that was kind of the blueprint for our first trailers. But looking around, people thought we were crazy. They thought that we had lost our mind, like this didn't make any sense to them. They couldn't see the big picture past, like, why do you want to build a big mobile septic tank? Like, that just doesn't make any, like, nobody's going to do this, nobody's going to buy this, nobody's going to pay for this. And we found a company in Elkhart, Indiana called Wells Cargo, and they were building a tailgate trailer. And their tailgate trailer, had a TV in it. It had a bar, and it was basically made for the owner of that company because he's a big Notre Dame fan. And inside, they had a small RV style bathroom on this little trailer. So, like an RV, it has a small holding tank and all that stuff. So they had the experience and the knowledge to kind of build exactly what we were looking for. And they were also kind of experimenting with this as well. So we almost fit hand in hand, and it worked, and it just kind of worked out to our, it worked out to our benefit. And so, yes, when we ordered the first two, they were extremely expensive. I think the first trailers back then, 20 years ago, I think we paid $40-something thousand for a trailer. And
wow, that's a lot of money.
Yes. And that same trailer produced 5 or 6 years later was going for somewhere around 23,000. So you can, we paid a lot of that upfront cost, but we made a good trailer.
Yeah, because to make the product market fit, you have to put the product out there, right? And and again, because it's the first one that you guys do, the first two, yeah, it's exactly this is what happened when we started business. Prototypes and working product is expensive. So, what was the journey from these first two? Yeah, that you guys were renting it out. Of course, you have to be competitive, yeah, but you have an amazing product. So when do you have the aha moment that, okay, let's order more, and we have something here? Because that's the other thing, that if you have only two, you have a really large event, you cannot accommodate a really large again because they need more, right? So it was at the beginning very, very niche. If you have two, one for men, one for women, the maximum capacity that you can serve is even maximum, I don't know, 200 people, right?
Yes. So that's why we primarily just focused on those weddings and higher end events.
Because yes, 400 people, 300 people.
But so the trailers, though, because they have a large holding tank, even though there may be 2 or 3 stalls in there, that was equivalent to 10 to 12 porta potties.
Oh,
So
wow.
from a holding capacity, they could last longer than what a traditional porta potty could, and they could serve more people over time. They just couldn't serve them as fast. The turnaround wasn't there. But what we found was a lot of these smaller festivals and stuff, they weren't heavy drinking events. They were family. They were it was, so we didn't have it wasn't the music festival line of people for these restrooms. So our experience, even though it was a slow growth, it caught on relatively quickly. It was, like, even this is what they wanted, this is what they preferred, even if
And
it
people
couldn't
talk about it.
accommodate.
You're right.
Yeah,
People talk
well,
about it.
and people didn't mind waiting for just a few more minutes, to go to the bathroom, because they looked at it as, hey, the people putting this on are actually thinking about us, and they're being, it's almost like a considerate factor. It's like a thank you. It's a tip. It's I didn't have to do this, but we are doing it. And that's how it was presented at the beginning. And it really, people really, really appreciated it. And one of the nice things is what we found out is when you first used a Royal restroom, we had a customer for life. They didn't want to go back to anything else. So you get on it. It's like, well,
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not going back. Like
Every event that person is doing is hiring you guys, right?
yeah. And
Absolutely.
because people are like, hey, we want the nice restrooms. We want the fancy ones.
Clients life,
We
yeah.
want,
That's fantastic.
yeah.
So then, David, when do you took because this is a big step to rather than have two to go to four or to six? How we scale this?
So
Actually, because the freight
demand,
is taking a lot to make the return, right?
yes, it is. And the great thing in business is depreciation expense. So you can write these assets off, which is a nice thing in the business world, that helps your bottom line at the end of the year. So you don't have to pay as much taxes. And that's kind of how Robert and I looked at it at the beginning. But when we started to move forward, expanding, buying more trailers, we realized that we have to, invest in employees. We have to invest in more vehicles. So it's not just buying trailers where, the company is growing. So it's
You
not
have
just
to
one
park,
trailer all of a
you
sudden.
need the space to park all this, right?
Yes. So all of a sudden
Oh,
it's
wow.
starting to get larger and larger. And it's
Complicated.
that moment. It's that moment that you have to go into, is like, okay, it's sink or swim. I have to go all in on this, or else I'm just going to, somebody else is going to pick up my pace, or they're going to pick up my momentum. Somebody else is going to start doing what I'm doing. So we continue to grow. And our big push, or our big, I guess, moment was, we had Andy Christian out of Florida. He went to a wedding that we had in Richmond Hill. And he was so impressed with the bathrooms that he's like, we need this down in Florida. We want to do this in Florida. Okay. Well, most people have partners and they get investors or something like that. He wanted to do exactly what we were doing. He didn't want to partner with us from a financial standpoint, but he wanted to use Royal Restrooms name. He wanted to use our marketing. He wanted to share trailers. He wanted to co-do marketing, all of that. So we sold a license to use the name, and basically coached him along. We use the same website. We started sharing expenses. So you're not duplicating things. You're still under one umbrella. You're just in a bigger location now. And that was the beauty of, the World Wide Web back then. It was, you could have one listing and multiple addresses and list separate numbers. And it was easier back then. And, but that was the moment that we were like, wow, wait a second. this maybe is bigger than what we're thinking. And if somebody else wants to do this in another state and they want to do exactly how we're doing it, we may be onto something here that we didn't even realize. And our business began to grow through selling office spaces. And since we were the first to market, and we kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say invented this space, but we developed this new market, this new industry within the industry. People took note, and they wanted to offer this service across the country. And so we went.
So you also start offering office spaces as well?
Yes. Yes. Well, we started selling licenses, and we went from Savannah, Georgia to Gainesville, Florida, all the way to the West Coast in Seattle, Washington. And then we came back to Atlanta, Georgia. And then we went to San Francisco, California. Then we went to Charleston, South Carolina. And then we went to Phoenix, Arizona. And we just kept opening offices, and people across the country just, they loved our product.
But I think, David, how you finance this? Because at the end of the day, you have to buy every office you open, you have to have how many? 2, 3? Well, because they move and you have few in several locations, you can put them around if people need more, right?
Correct. So
sharing the resources.
We shared resources to help out, but each individual office is owned independently by their own entrepreneur. But we, as I guess the management company, we manage these offices. So we had now 2 companies. We had our local rental market, and then we had a management company that helped manage the franchises and the marketing and the promotion of everything, in which in turn they paid us a royalty fee to do this. And that is how we grew. So it wasn't just Robert and I that were, financially investing in all of these companies. We were still financially responsible for our office here locally. And then we were responsible for, trying to help the other offices grow through marketing and web presence and stuff. And we were kind of like a business coach for the business. We taught people how to operate a portable restroom company.
Mm-hmm. But however, David, how you finance the other 2? You have 2 at the beginning, yeah, for your own company.
Yes.
And then you needed 2 more, yeah. So what happened?
Yes.
You managed to get them more affordable. You asked a loan for the bank. How you afford the other 2?
So we took out home equity lines on our house first. We put our own money in.
Yes. That's for the first 2? Home equity for the first 2?
And we were able to buy more with that. And then at that point, when we bought our 7th trailer is when we first went to the bank.
7 you bought? Wow. What price do you manage to get them cheaper?
We were able to get them cheaper after the first ones were built. So because a lot of that first expense was molding and buying tools, and they weren't sure that anything was ever going to be built again. So it was almost like a custom build. So after that, the prices went way down, that there was a market for it. But, within the first year, I think we had seven trailers. Within 2 years, we had close to 20. And now we have probably somewhere around 130 trailers here locally.
That's a lot. Locally or all over the state? Only you guys?
In Savannah, that's what we have. Stateside, we probably have close to 2,500 to 3,000 trailers somewhere nationwide.
Wow, that's a lot. But do you really need that many? 130 in one location? That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you start having, when people realize that there is this option out there. In anything that goes on, that's what people want. The other thing, though, is we require portable restrooms, or the county or city require businesses to have bathrooms. So if anybody is getting their bathroom remodeled or their water line breaks, for them to stay open, OSHA requires them to provide a fully functioning restroom. So we have a lot of long-term rentals out that help facilitate this. Right now, it's the holiday season over here, and so we have a lot of trailers at FedEx, at UPS, at Amazon, at different warehouses where they have temporary workers that have all come in. So we're providing services like that for the overflow so that they can hire more employees. Coupled with parties and events and your traditional business that goes in and out. It's a everyday business, where it was once more seasonal. So that's what I said by earlier, that weddings and special events are not really our primary source of revenue like it once was. It's shifted.
Yeah, David, it's like the market was even bigger than what you thought, right?
Oh yeah,
you were not counting on that the market was huge. Exactly what you say, right?
No, we never envisioned that we would be where we are today. Of course, we sat back and thought about it, when we were younger and when we had egos, larger than us, and we were just cocky and naive. You get that, oh, we could be doing this, man, won't it be great to be that, but we're here now, and we've accomplished that. And the funny thing about entrepreneurship is, when you're young, you have all this gumption and determination and grit to do it. And when you get into your business, it's almost like you are doing everything to save stuff from being taken from you. It's, instead of continuing that growth mode, it's almost like you're in this secure mode, and you're like just trying to save everything you can. You're not thinking about that. You're like, how can I protect this? I'm not going to be as risky. I'm not going to wager my house anymore on buying this because I've got all of this to lose. And so your mindset does change, and it becomes difficult to be that entrepreneur that you once were when you started out. And it's important to make sure that you do try to remember those roots. And that's what I was saying earlier about how do you continue to make more? And that's by being innovative and taking risk and taking chances that, that you wouldn't necessarily do today, but you would have a long time ago.
Yeah, a lot of responsibility comes, when as soon as the business grow, and you have employees and you have this, and now you're responsible not only for the trailers. Now you're responsible for the people, and for your people that bought the licenses, and to make sure that that everybody comply with the brand standards, and enroll everybody to create a great experience. It takes a lot of responsibility. Yeah. So the growth, right, actually make you like be more cautious than when you started. Oh, let's build this, which is, I think, was kind of crazy, $40,000. It was. If you're looking back, you think, oh my God, we really were crazy. We took a huge risk, right, to remortgage your houses to build those prototypes. And but look at that. Who's gonna know that the market is gonna be bigger than what you thought? Who's gonna predict that now even weddings are not even your main source? Yeah, Now, David, I have a question. So what happened in COVID? Because COVID, there was no events around. So what happened? How you overcome this challenge? Because I'm guessing, guys, that those days I organized events all over the world. So when COVID came, everything stopped, especially live events. So how do you manage to survive?
Well, that's a great question. We had mass panic flow through us, and we had all across the country, we had floods of calls, and all of a sudden we don't know what to do. Do we refund people's money for deposits? And ultimately it was like, wow, I think one day we had like $80,000 in contracts cancel in one day. I mean, that was all it was. The phones were just constantly ringing, I need to cancel, I need to cancel, I need to cancel, I need to cancel. And it was like a gut punch. It was like, wow, we are going to be broke. Oh, I can't believe this is happening. And, one thing different between the our business owners and what we do here, I always try to focus on the future. I'm looking down the road. I'm looking at the big picture. Whereas a lot of my markets and office owners, they're looking at their individual market. They see what's going on only there, and they see what's right in front of them, because they're busy handling the day-to-day tasks. They're busy taking that. And that's all they felt. That's all they saw was that. Um, I had already been kind of following this from a national perspective, and I kept trying to assure everybody, look, everybody's going to be fine. It was almost like daily newsletters that were going out, like, hey, this is the update. We're going to be fine. This is what I'm hearing on the thread, and we do a lot with the government, with FEMA, national, contractors that do natural disasters and stuff. And there was a lot of talk about makeshift hospitals, testing centers, all of that stuff. Well, all of these things needed restrooms and showers. I mean, if you're putting up temporary facilities all over the country, what is it that you need? You're going to need bathrooms. You're going to need showers. We even started building some sink trailers because, it was such of high importance to wash your hands, to make sure that you're washing your hands. I mean, all over the world, there were, hand washing stations, and I mean, everywhere you walk out of a gas station or a grocery store, there's a, like, wash your hands before you come in, do this. So those bids and those opportunities started dwindling in, and coming in, and that saved our business.
But your facility didn't have a shower.
Oh no, we do have shower trailers. Some of our
Really?
trailers have showers. Yes.
Really?
Yes, we have shower trailers as well.
Before COVID.
Yes.
Oh,
Because we do yes, we have shower trailers, we have laundry trailers, we have some beverage trailers, we have some office trailers.
Why do you have shower trailers? What kind of events use the showers?
Mostly your camping festival type events.
Okay.
But we do a lot of um, summer camps as well, like your Boy Scout camps, your those type of things. But showers are primarily used for a lot of disaster relief camps. They're also used for different type of government training camps. But showers it is kind of a different and unique item, but they're utilized a lot more than one thinks.
Yeah.
Because
so they need a bigger tank, right?
Oh yes, we have those trailers have large tanks, big holding tanks, and they're endless hot water with propane heated tanks. So, but it's a real, it's a real shower. It's a different business, as one might say. We find, unique businesses for unique circumstances, you know.
So in fact, actually, people, you did find those clients nationwide in COVID times where they were doing this temporary facility to, I don't know, to do vaccines or to do
Yes,
testing and everything. And then you guys call them and say, hey, you're going to have this facility. We have this product.
that's
And,
correct. So,
wow.
so we shifted our business from weddings and events to that type of work. People were where they were doing the COVID testing. We had them at hospitals. We had them at. It's funny. We even had restrooms and showers at some TV stations because
Wow.
the reporters out in the field had to make sure, they couldn't contaminate themselves with coming back in to report.
Wow.
So it was a different time. It was a
And again,
strange time. I am
everybody that
glad
use
that
them,
we have
everybody
gotten
that
through
use
it.
them, you have a client for life, right?
That's it. That's what we're thinking. That's what we're thinking.
Yes, so now you have a wider audience that know about your product, right? So that this is also an audience that you would not even consider it, that they will use your service, yeah. And 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 again, once they find the product and they use it, they like it, they, if they have a friend doing a festival, if they have someone doing something, of course they will recommend you because they already they already tested, they already used the facility. Wow! So what an amazing journey! It's fantastic. When today at the beginning we're talking about how to make the first million, how to make your product market fit. Yeah. And it's all about, David, be flexible and listen to your client. Because imagine, guys, when you were young, if you were so stubborn, they said, no, 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 my product is for wedding and events. I'm not changing anything. It's only going to be for this. And if somebody needs it for somebody else, they need to hire someone else. Sometimes, like you said, when you were young and when you have big ego and then you have this product that you launch, yeah, sometimes ego can go in the way and make you a barrier to listen to your clients, to listen what they really want. Like, for example, when you started, didn't have a shower, and somehow down the line you decided to, okay, let's have the shower because there are some events that requires that. Maybe it was more expensive to build those on with shower, and it was another challenge as well because models, prototypes, things like that. The first ones are expensive, so um, this part of your success is having actually listen to your client's demand and adapt to the market. Even look at this, even when in COVID, you even were thinking, oh, you to produce only mobile sinks, right? Which is why? Because it was the demand. This is what the clients needed. In that specific moment of time. So I had to congratulate you guys because you have done a fantastic job here. You deserve a medal to come out with the niche product. This is with the niche product that solve a big problem, and I can tell you the problem is global. Yeah, it's not only in United States. If you go to London, where I live, oh God, yeah, this is the problem is still around, yeah, and you guys came out with a better solution, and people are loving it. So I congratulate you for that. So David, somebody wants to have the experience to have one of those restaurants or what you produce. How they can find you guys? How the process work?
Well, here in the States, it is royalrestrooms.com. We have not gone internationally yet. We would like to, but that opportunity hasn't manifested yet. We've had some interest, but of course, our roads and vehicles are all different across the world. And right now our trailers primarily suit USA or North American needs. But we'd love to be over in England and be in London. I love going to Hyde Park. We had planned to be there at Christmas this year, but unfortunately plans got moved around and we are not able to be there. But like I said, you can find me on LinkedIn at David Sauers or any of our social media platforms. If you look under Royal Restrooms, you will find us.
It's been a pleasure, David. And for all of you, see this broadcast, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs like David break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.